Bonjour tout le monde! Aujourd'hui, on va faire une petite dissertation au sujet du Maigret. En particulier, le roman Piètre le laiton, le premier roman de Georges Simenon qui s'agit de l'inspecteur célèbre Jules Maigret. Et je vais faire la dissertation entièrement en français pour pratiquer le français. And now for something completely different. So here's everything you need to know for this to make sense. Jules Maigret is a fictional detective created by Georges Simenon, an incredibly prolific French mystery writer. He wrote some 60-odd novels about Jules Maigret, the famous detective. I read his first book, Piètre le laiton, or Peter the Latin translation is a little fuzzy. So I assume most of you are familiar with Holmes' method of deduction, in which he reasons and logics his way to the correct answer. What none of you probably know is the method of detection used by Jules Maigret. And you wouldn't be the only ones. Jules Maigret repeatedly states that he has no method of deduction. He often follows gut impulses. And while those gut feelings usually pay off, it may take them the entire novel to do so. So in this category, simply for reasons of speed, I'm going to declare Holmes the winner. I feel a bit like I shouldn't even have to do this, but I will anyway. Holmes is a slightly sociopathic, brilliant detective who can solve crimes based upon the type of dirt on the bottom of someone's shoe. Jules Maigret is a slightly bumbling police detective living in 1930s Paris. I think we know who wins this one. Sherlock Holmes does all sorts of crazy badass shit all the time. However, in the very first novel of the Jules Maigret series, he ends the novel with Maigret getting shot. And not like, oh no, I've caught a bullet in the arm shot. Oh no, Maigret is bleeding out on the ground shot. That's how he ends the book. And the last little bit of it is Maigret cheerfully recovering in hospital and complaining about the food. I think that we're going to go with Maigret on this one. On the subject of literary merit, that one gets a little fuzzy. Georges Simenon and Sir Arthur Conan Doyle are both literary titans. They were incredibly prolific. They wrote many books, not just the detective series for which they are so renowned. I think I'm just gonna call it a draw, because they both came from humble beginnings, but they were both also immensely popular, and we also remember the novels for their stylistic choices. This last category is a little unfair, because let's be honest, in addition to the huge amounts of film adaptations, television series, and the many offshoots and stories about Sherlock Holmes, Sir Arthur Conan Doyle killed Sherlock Holmes off, and then brought him back to life due to massive public outcry against the famous detective's untimely demise. So it's sort of hard to put Maigret up next to that. However, what do you think of when you think of a detective that isn't Sherlock Holmes? Fedora? A pipe? A big heavy overcoat? While these are all things that are very indicative of Sherlock Holmes, these are also things that are highly indicative of Jules Maigret. So while Holmes might be the indelible impression of what we envision a detective to be, Maigret is sort of the watermark, the imprint upon which we place all other detectives who follow him. And that's my show, guys. Like, subscribe, favorite. I'll see you next week.